Okay, welcome. It is Wednesday, June 19th, 4:30 p.m., and we'll call the meeting to order. First, if all the people that can rise and stand, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call to order. Roll call, please.
Pete Hamill.
Here.
Sean Brewster.
Here.
Brad Hunt.
Here.
Tom Eggers.
Here.
Wayne Barahona.
Okay, next item, approval of the agenda. Set forth.
I move that we approve the agenda as set forth.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Okay, now it is a public forum, time set aside for the general public to address the council on items that are not on the agenda. So if anybody has any comments, step to the podium, please. If I see none, we'll move on to the next consent agenda.
Move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll
Support.
Okay, that's fine. Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Hunt.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Old business, the Mid-America Gas Franchise, public hearing. So we'll open the public hearing. Have we received any other comments?
None.
Do we have any public comments at this time? Yes, Marv.
Yeah, Marv Van Riesen from Sheldon, Iowa. First off, congratulations, Scott. Retirement, joining the ranks. You're going to have a good time, I am. Okay? I want to share just a few things about the this franchise thing, the wording and so forth. I don't have it in front of me here. I did read it. There are some issues that I have some real concerns about. When this first started, it started out with just buying a fire truck. And I'm going to tell you something. We do have some good volunteer services, and and I always forget the police department, but you do a fine job. Only when you don't get tickets. Okay, but no, really. Sometimes I forget them. We take them for granted. They're just part of the city, but we should give our ambulance and fire departments some good equipment, which we have in years. I think what's disturbing to me on some of this stuff is the fact that this came up about you had to buy a fire truck. We know that the fire department had a budget, and they had been saving $25,000 for 20 years, they thought. When it come time to buy a fire truck, the money was gone. I've asked several times where that money is, haven't had a reply. I don't know if anybody knows. I'm not saying anybody stole it. I'm just saying that it probably was spent somewhere else, which we should have been saving it. We all pay taxes for that. And we continue to pay taxes for that stuff. Now we run ourselves in a situation where we're low on money. We don't have money. We've overspent. And now we've come to a point where all of a sudden we have to scramble and get, they call it a fee. It's what it is, a tax. We have to be honest about it. It's a tax. In that franchise statement, you have the fact about part of it being is a tax, excuse me, I don't have it in front of me here, but the fact that like us taxpayers are going to be saving money. And the fact that isn't the case at all. That isn't the case at all. We're going to be spending more money. And it isn't really necessary. The money is there. We got to address the budget, number one. And we got to address this TIF thing, get more on the property tax rolls to get that money in. That's part of the problem we have here. There's no doubt. But that's been averted the last number of years, and I've been saying it for a number of years, and they just refuse to do that. And you're going to continue to have problems like that until this is settled. $625,000 is outrageous. I haven't even seen a plan of what's going to be bought bang, bang, bang down through the years. You add $625,000 for 15 years, that's a lot of money, and I haven't even seen a plan. Other than, no, just
Marv, we've had a plan at several other meetings before this meeting
Where's
of
the
how
plan?
we're going to spend this money.
where's the first year, second year, third year?
We
I
have
haven't
that.
seen
All
it.
there.
It's all been
I
out
haven't
in
seen
all the
it.
public in
And
the
not,
budget.
Now listen, Matt, this is a hearing. I'm going to finish,
Go ahead.
okay?
Yep, I'll
Let me
let you.
speak. Let me finish what I'm going to say, Brad.
Yep.
I'm just telling you that we have a situation in town that churches are getting together to give free meals on Monday evenings if you haven't participated to people that cannot afford to buy their own, that they got to get free meals. We got better than 40%. This is what I understand. I've checked the figure. 40% of the kids are better on free or reduced lunches in our school system. We have other agencies out there in churches collecting money so people can go get their co-pays on medicine, whatever, paid. I was told just the other day, and it's true from an individual because they work with them all the time, there's people that can't afford toilet paper for crying out loud. And we have raised taxes. We've raised, the assessments got up, that's more money. We raised taxes $2 1,000. We're up to about 15 something 1,000. And it doesn't seem like anybody cares. I do. I know a lot of other people that do out there. And I'm here to tell you, we can give the fire department, the ambulance, their equipment, and the vehicles they need, but we don't have to go to this extreme. Because if we allow this, there's no cut that's going to happen, which should. There's no addressing of this insurance to the limit which it should. Plain and simple. And I just feel it's outrageous. I mean, we can't, water rates have been going up all the time, sewer rates keep going up. You got this Lewis and Clark thing going that Lord only knows what that's going to cost by the time we get hooked up. You know, when you raise this stuff like this, is what you have to understand. The landlords raise the prices, and they have to. I think it's absolutely chilling. Let's go by, I like to go by what Sheldon's slogan is, families first. We have a statement that you put out. You're giving the rich and the influential better treatment than the general public. They got to pay, general public, John Doe, these same people I'm talking about have to pay 5%. The business and industry is the one that can afford it, they're paying 2%. To me, there's something wrong with that program. It's just plain wrong. Them people were not invited in the city manager's office. I'm talking about the ones that can't afford the toilet paper and so forth, to negotiate whether it's 2 or 5% where the rich and influential work. That is wrong. And I would encourage you guys just to stop. I'd like to see you just set this aside for a while. We got to November. Budget time's coming up. Be a perfect time to start addressing this budget issue again and then take a look at this thing. I think it's a fair and equal way for everybody to get a fair say and get a fair shake. I believe that's what the public wants. I really do. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Marv. Any other public comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move. Support.
Roll call, please.
Cruiser.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
We'll open the, we don't have to have action on the... No. Okay, we'll have, next item under old business is Mid-America Electric franchise public hearing. I opened the public hearing. If there's anybody that has comments, we have received no written comments again.
Correct.
Okay, if we have any public comments at this time, please step to the podium, please. I see none, so then I will entertain the motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye. Okay, next item under old business is update on the HC Lane building. Those are 324 and 326 9th Street. I believe this afternoon, Sam has got some information from Wayne Schofelt Engineering.
Yes, thank you. We received a letter this afternoon, and then I received clarification later this afternoon, 12:39 p.m., an email from Wayne Schofelt. He says Sam, yes, the wall strength has been restored, and I would recommend we reopen the alley to traffic. So if we could have a motion to authorize reopening the alley as soon as the garbage container is removed by the contractor.
I would move to reopen the alley as soon as the garbage containers are moved.
Second?
Any discussion? I'll entertain roll call, please.
Hint.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Guess I don't have to look that way. I look this way tonight. Under new business, the third reading of ordinance setting the water rates and amending the late fee and notification process. And I believe those have been printed before and have been out for publication. So, do we have a motion to approve the third reading?
So moved.
Support.
Comments? Discussion? I'll entertain a roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye. Next item, under the Sheldon Community Ambulance Team, accept the resignation of Dakota Brown as EMT Paramedic Coordinator effective July 3rd.
So moved.
I'll support that. Discussion? You see none? Roll call, please.
Brewster.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye. The next item is appoint Dakota Brown to SCAT team member as a part-time volunteer EMT.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Hint.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Next item, discussion and the direction regarding a full-time position for SCAT. Kevin, do you have some words for us?
Yes, thank you. So with the full-time position, I think that we need to move forward with setting out the ad for the position. Again, I think it should be in the publications that we used last time as well as Indeed. I think that in the interim, Dakota's last day will be July 3rd. In the interim, while we before we hire that position, the assistant director, Kristen Hahn, and myself will be fulfilling the duties of Dakota, such as all the paperwork and administration that she does in the office. Are there questions in regard to the position?
I don't have any.
Nope, I just think we need to
We need to move
move forward with it and continue that position and move forward with it.
Okay. So moving forward, I'll work with the city manager to go ahead and look at salaries, all that information, and then go ahead, finish the job description, and move forward with the interview process.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to authorize to move forward? Okay, I'll make that motion to allow SCAT and the city to move forward on that full-time position.
Support.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye. Next item, resolution approving, or resolution adopting First Bank of Omaha, or get this right, First Bank of Oklahoma Financial as a substitute paying agent, register, and a transfer agent, approving the paying agent and register agreement, and authorizing the execution of the agreement. Execution of the agreement. A lot of words there. So,
If I might.
yes, Sam.
Just a brief explanation on this. This is a relatively small expense, but because it involves our bond servicing, it requires a resolution of the council. The fee difference between UMB that our current servicer has been sold to is $600 a year versus the new servicer of $450 a year through the Bank of Oklahoma. So it's a 25% savings. And again, this is normally an expense that could be handled administratively, but because it involves our bond servicing, it requires an official resolution by the council.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve that resolution appointing the Bank of Oklahoma Financial.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, workman's compensation and liability insurance renewal. And I believe Tom is in the audience. So if you want to step to the podium.
Thank you. And thank the city for continuing work with IMWCA and ICAP. So I made a few notes here, just some highlights. IMWCA is the work comp carrier for the city. That's a pool that's made up of over 500 Iowa counties and cities, landfills. The main difference this year is the experience mod for the city improved from 1.11 to 0.77. That's a 34% savings on the work comp experience mod. Now that's calculated by NCCI, so that's based on a 3-year experience period, not counting the most recent year. So that's a good trend to move in that direction. And Iowa rates for the second year in a row have dropped. Iowa base rates have dropped. So that translates to a premium savings of over $60,000 from the 17-18 policy term. That's a good thing. Scott Smith is IMWCA's loss control person, and he has recently done a survey in the city. And I would encourage the city to work with Scott. Loss control, we can avoid claims and make the city safer. That's a good thing. I think he just recently gave a couple recommendations to the city. So that's the work comp. The property and casualty insurance is with ICAP, which is the Iowa Community Assurance Pool. That again is a pool of cities, counties, landfills, water districts, county fairs in Iowa. There's about 750 members in that pool. That pool was started in 1986. Back then it was difficult for municipalities to purchase insurance. Not a lot of players in that market, so the pool was created. The city has participated for many years. The retention ratio in that pool of members is about 99%, so very little attrition out of that pool. The vesting allows the city to receive a voucher every year because of they're fully vested in that program based on the contribution size. This year's contribution or voucher is $13,530, which is great. So in the last 10 years, the city has received vouchers equaling $111,086 in vouchers. So that's credit against premium is what that is. A couple other things that ICAP does. There's a safety grant awarded each year. The city, I think the last 3 years, there's been a $1,000 safety grant to be spent by the city as they wish for safety purposes. This year, for the first time, there was a $2,500 police department education grant. So that's new this year. I hope that continues also. Our agency has a good relationship with both ICAP and IMWCA. We have over 17 organizations insured with those folks, so it's been a good relationship. So that's kind of a high-level overview. Do you have any questions about either ICAP or IMWCA?
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
One other, could I just, because I was here at the last council meeting, HSA participation, we're through that process after visiting with just about every employee at the city. There were 3 singles and 16 families that have chose the HSA. That was good participation. So I thank the council for their support on that.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Sam, you have any comments? Okay. then we'll need a motion to approve the Iowa Municipality Workmen's Compensation Renewal.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Hint.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Then we need a motion to approve the ICAP, Iowa Community Assurance Pool.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Eggers.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Okay, reports. Managers report.
I do not have anything to submit other than or to add to what I've already submitted in writing.
Okay. Kurt, do you have anything? Council on my left. Nope. On the phone, Tom, do you have anything?
Yeah, since I can't be there for the reception, I just wanted to thank Scott for his 32 years of service, and that's very admirable. And I wish I could be there, but since I can't, just wanted to make sure it's on the record. So, Scott, I hope you enjoy your retirement. Yeah, you certainly have deserved it. And I'll try to find you when I get back and shake your hand personally.
Okay, thank you. And then on that note, the next item on the agenda, recognition of Officer Scott DeGooey for 32 years of service. So if Lyle and Scott would come up. What, you do it there?
Sure. I have a little speech here. So, Officer Scott DeGooey has faithfully served the city of Sheldon and the Sheldon Police Department for 32 years and 1 month. During that period of time, he's had contact probably with tens of thousands of people in every kind of circumstance imaginable. As cops, we always joke that we should have written a book about all the experiences we've ever had. Most people wouldn't believe them if we were to write that book. If Scott were to write a book, it would be highly entertaining. I think we would find that book would make not only laugh, but it would make us cry at times as well. Scott has dealt with a lot of good in a lot of people. He's also dealt with a lot of bad situations with some very bad people. And he's had to do some things as a police officer that I think the public would find to be shocking. Through it all, he's remained mostly the same person that I met about 30 years ago. This past week, we've had a terrible time with Scott. We keep telling him, stay in the police department. Don't get yourself involved with anything. You don't want to end up in court down the road. Just stay in the station. That's really difficult for Scott. Scott doesn't relax very well, and he finds it nearly impossible to do anything differently than the way he's done it for the past 32 years. I could write a really long, mushy speech to thank him for everything he's done for our department, but I think I would safely be able to say that that's probably not Scott's style, and he wouldn't even want that. So I guess my only wishes for Scott going forward is that, I've heard it said that when you retire, every day is a holiday, and I sure hope that's true for you as well. So thank you for your service to our community. Best wishes for your future retirement.
Scott, if you and Lyle would come up here. On behalf of the city, the mayor, the city council, the staff, city employees, the citizens of Sheldon, we'd like to thank you for your 32 years and 1 month of service. We appreciate your dedication for all those years, and we wish you the best of luck. We also have a plaque here. It reads, presented to Officer Scott DeGooey in the appreciation and recognition for your 32 years of dedicated service to the Sheldon Police Department, June 1, 1987 to June 30th, 2019. Again, congratulations. Any closing comments?
It's been a long ride and a very successful one, and I've had a lot of fun along the way, especially with Lyle for a lot of years and with a lot of other people too. A lot of my fellow co-workers, we've all had a good time.
Thank you. And on the note, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Hamel. Aye. Brewster.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
And the reception is in here or is it next door? And